It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in the studio today. Danny Golden with the Department of Public Safety. He's a captain in the Prescott District.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
It's always good to have you guys.
It is great to be here.
Good to have you. I think it was November, late November, maybe early this month. We had a message or an email or I guess a press release from Department of Public Safety saying that starting in January, we're going to crack down on texting and driving, using your cell phones while driving, right, all that stuff. So I was kind of hoping you could shed some more light on that and how that's going to work out, because I think I see it all the time, and I think a lot of people see that all the time. I mean, you see it at stop signs, you see it at stop lights where the car in front of you is just still sitting there while you're waiting for traffic to move, and you can tell that this person is got their head down and they're doing something down here, right, and then you give them a little honk, and then they look up, oh, it's green light. The ones that scare me the most is heading home on 17, and the person in front of you all of a sudden rumble strip.
Yes.
Rumble strip. Rumble strip.
I had a semi-truck yesterday nearly take me out up on I-40. Oh. Came all the way over into my lane, forced me to go into the median to avoid hitting it.
Were you dressed like this?
Same thing, yes.
You were?
Yeah.
What happened?
We had a little chat. Mm-hmm. We had a little chat. And it's not just texting, it's all distracted driving. Texting is an element of it, but there's other distractions that we have, whether it be trying to eat a hamburger, trying to play with the radio, or get something out of the back of the car. It's anything that is taking you away from your focus, which you should be doing as the operator of a vehicle, which is drive that vehicle.
Do we see it more now, though? Do we see it more? Like I was saying, the rumble strip, and I'll have people actually pass me and get up in front of me, and they're going along just fine. I'm thinking that's great. Then all of a sudden, I've got to go around them again, and as I do, they're working on their phone.
Yes, the phones is what is getting a lot of attention right now, and it's a culture change. This technology wasn't here just a few years ago.
Sure.
And the attempts they've made it easier to try to text, which we love good technology, but what it is doing to people driving is what the negative effects that we're seeing. People are dying from it.
Are there laws against using your cell phone while you're driving down the road? Am I okay talking on my cell phone while I'm driving down the road or texting on the phone?
Currently, yes. There is no law that prohibits it. If you've been to California recently, you've seen their law it's simply stated is you can't not have a device in your hand. They don't say you can't text, you can't talk. You can't have it in your hand. If you have a hands-free device, you're fine. And that's what a lot of people choose to do, is use hands-free devices as they're going, and it's an option. But it's still talking on the phone is still a distraction because it's divided attention. You're thinking about the conversation you have, and depending on what the conversation is about, it can be quite a distraction to you.
Right. I mean, if you're having a great phone conversation, you're probably going to be doing okay. But I mean, what if it's some devastating phone call and all of a sudden your entire mood changes and it changes the way you're driving too? I mean, you wouldn't normally be driving down the road if you were in a horrible mood or distraught about something. But all of a sudden now you've got that phone call. Yeah, I remember picking up the phone and doing this in order to call. And if you wanted to make a call, you had to wait till you got home or find a phone booth or whatever. All that good stuff. I've noticed also now we've had some real tragic accidents this year, early this year, but just in the past couple of months, we had a horrible accident over in Chino Valley that killed 3 people in a vehicle, and somebody crossed the center line. The vehicle that did was not the vehicle that had any fatalities in the vehicle, but. And then we had one just recently, a triple fatal. But a few cases I've noticed recently, Danny, is that we're looking back at cell phone records now, and that to me seemed kind of new when I'm writing stories that the Department of Public Safety or whatever agency may it be, they are going back to look at cell phone records. Right. That's new. Is that new? Or is it just now we're talking about it more?
Once again, it's another avenue of that we can look at to try to figure out what happened. How did this accident occur? How did this collision occur? We've always tried to come up with a reason that something tragic has happened. And we have seen that there is an increase of people who are texting and or distracted driving, and that it's causing a lot of collisions. That's why we are taking the enforcement actions that we are. And when we say taking enforcement action, we're doing the same thing as we did with the move over law. When DUI laws came around, it's what was socially acceptable. Now they're saying, hey, this particular part of driving is killing people, is causing a lot of collisions. Here's what we're going to do to try to solve the problem, or at least mitigate it. And by educating the public in it, that's what we're trying to do, is educate them at first and say, here's the dangers in it. A lot of people think they are great at multitasking and driving, and they're not, because it only takes just a few seconds of looking away, and someone can brake in front of you, and your stopping distance is now gone, and that's where the tragedies.
There's a lot of what-ifs could happen.
Yes.
As soon as you look down, you're doing this. All of a sudden, all kinds of things could change up in front of you that you didn't realize were going to happen. How are we going to enforce that?
How are we going to enforce it?
Yeah, DPS is going to, like I said, the press release said it was definitely going to be a crackdown starting in January. Where, I mean, are you going to be looking specifically for drivers on their phones driving down the road and pulling them up?
Absolutely. We'll be looking for that. Plus, you would be surprised the number of reports that we get where people call in and say, hey, this person is all over the road. And you will come up, and when we're around, then you're looking at the driving, and there's nothing there. So if we see something, or if we get a report of something where the reporting party says, look, I saw them all over the road, and sometimes they'll even say, look, they're texting and driving. I can see them looking down at the phone. I've seen them. And they'll call. We'll stop, talk to them, and educate them. That doesn't mean they're getting a citation. They may get a warning for it. It's when you're looking at statute that they talked about under ARS 28701A, it's reasonable and prudent driving. What is the reasonable and prudent speed for talking on a cell phone and driving down the road, or texting? It's zero.
Zero, okay.
I just the other day, coming back down through Chino Valley, I saw a vehicle that appeared to be broke down, and I stopped in behind him and talked to the two individuals there. They said, no, we stopped because we were going to talk on the phone. And
I see that all the time too.
I was amazed, and talked to them about where they had parked a little bit, but I was very pleased that they did at least pull over, and the gentleman who was driving says, I didn't want to talk on the phone because I knew what I was talking about was going to take my attention away from what I should be doing. And the interesting part about that is he was only 10 miles from his house, yet he still stopped, pulled over to the side, and had his conversation, and then went on.
That's what we should be doing.
Yes.
Right? We should be pulling off the side of the road, stopping, because I see that all the time as well. People just sitting on the side of the road, they're talking on their phone. It's like, okay, that's exactly what you should be doing.
Yes.
Okay.
If you have a hands-free device, as we said, it's still a distraction because you're still talking with someone, and you're not thinking about exactly what you should be doing, is safely operating that vehicle and taking it down the roadway, and just remembering about everybody else that could be there, because looking down and up, you might not have seen that car that is broke down on the side of the road. You may not have seen that officer who is on the side of the road on a traffic stop.
Tim Huffman is that case. We discussed this just before you sat down to talk, is that the story came out that the semi driver that ran into Officer Tim Huffman was using some kind of a device down his lap to look at pictures or whatever it was he was doing. He was definitely looking down at something at the time.
Yes.
And I imagine they pulled records on that device to find out what he was doing at the time.
Yes.
But I mean, just that fast.
Right. And that one right there, the tragic loss of Officer Tim Huffman, where he was killed in it. But even in that tragedy, we almost lost others that were in it, because there was one of my dear friends was the first person that truck driver almost ran over. Captain George Anderson was there directing traffic, and that's the first vehicle that gentleman struck.
Was this on a curve?
No.
No, that's what really boggles my mind, because I mean, you guys had have had such a presence down there, lights flashing, maybe flares even out, and all that stuff going on.
It was daytime.
Uh-huh.
There no visual obstructions. It's open, and there's every other vehicle that was out there was moving over, was getting out of the way because they had the slow speed lane blocked. And this gentleman came through and...
Perfect example.
Yep.
Perfect example of why you shouldn't be looking down while you're driving, because it's all happening right out there. Absolutely. We need to take our first break, okay? Okay. DPS Captain Danny Golden in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll take a quick 2-minute break and be right back.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Paul, proud owner of High Desert Pest and Weed Control, with a sincere thank you for voting as #1 3 years in a row.
Congratulations, Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, High Desert Pest and Weed Control offer 100% guaranteed positive results. So if you're fed up dealing with spiders, scorpions, roaches, and other pests, rely on a company that's been serving Sedona and the Verde Valley since 1998. Call Mr. Paul at 639-4444. That's 639-4444.
Welcome back to Countywide. DPS Captain Danny Golden in studio today. We're talking about safe driving, texting and driving. They're going to be doing a kind of a crackdown on that starting in January, trying to get people to really pay attention to where they're driving. You mentioned it in our first segment, and Department of Public Safety sent us another press release just recently that said we really need people to get the grasp of this move over law.
Yes.
We're still trying to get people to talk about that. Now, I'll be honest, when I'm driving down the road and I see one of you guys on the side of the road or something, I try to watch to see just how many people, because we've done so many shows on it, right, how many people move over and how many don't. And it's about a 50-50, I notice, is that. But I also notice officers always, instead of on the driver's side of the vehicle now, officers always tend to go over to the passenger side of the vehicle and talk that direction into the car, which is obviously a safety. Because we've seen the videos where officers are standing on the driver's side and they get clipped by a vehicle going by.
Yes.
But move over law, we really want folks to move over.
Yes, we do. And I sent you a piece of information just a while back where one of our squads actually went out and did an educational shift where they spent about 8 hours working on just the move over law. And they would stop a vehicle for a violation that is seen, and then it was observed, and they would watch the other vehicles. And if they saw a violation, they would stop them. And we wrote in the 8 hours around 78 stops, I believe it was. And of those 78, there was we issued warnings on the majority of them just for the move over law, just to do some education and try to tell them exactly what's expected. And it's not, move over isn't just move over to the side, because a lot of people go, I'm on a 2-lane road. Am I supposed to go? No, you're not supposed to go the wrong way. No, you're not supposed to try to force anybody off. Move over is observe, seeing a problem, and it's not just on a stop that law enforcement is doing. It can be someone that is broke down on the side of the road, that has a flat tire, that is unable to move over further in the emergency lane. When you see something happening, someone that is on the side of the road, they've got their flashers on, we ask you, if you can, if there is a lane available, to go to it. If there's traffic there, that's where we're saying, slow down. It's, yeah, the speed limit may be 75, 65, or 55, whatever it is. Slow down, so it gives you more time to be able to react to what is going to be coming up when you come up there, and there is, you notice that, oh, someone's leg is sticking out because they're trying to get under the car to jack it up.
Sure. I mean, we've all been in that. We've all been in that scenario where we're doing something, and you just forget about what you're doing and where you're at.
Right.
And then what if, you drop a lug nut, it rolls out in the interstate, you just take a step out there to go grab it, and now all of a sudden, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking, doggone it, my tire's flat, and I got to fix this thing. And bam, just like that, it happens. So, yeah, we're running your PSA for that ad, and it says any type of flashing light on there.
Right.
Get over.
Yes.
Slow down.
Because it's not just us. Anybody that's ever had the discomfort of being broke down, dealing with a flat tire, a low tire, dealing with something that happened inside of a vehicle. You know, we've had kids that get sick, or somebody that gets sick during it. They're trying to get off to the side of the road to deal with whatever emergency comes up. We don't know what it is until we get there and try to figure it out. You don't know what it is and what someone's doing. Slow down, take a look, and see. And that's where we get a lot of our information as well. Individuals driving down the road, they see a car over there. We get several calls. Hey, there's somebody there that's slumped over the wheel. There's somebody there that is puking. And we look at that, okay, they may be sick, or what else could it be? Could it be someone that's intoxicated or impaired? And we deal with those quite often as well.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Zero Fatality and Zero Injury Collision Initiative.
Yes.
What's that all about?
A national initiative where they tried to put officers every 20 miles on Interstate 40 across the nation in attempts to, on those days, prevent any collisions, prevent any fatalities. And it was successful in Arizona, and I believe nationally it worked, where they did prevent fatalities. And it proves the fact that the more officers we can get out there to enforce the laws, the more that we can have people out there waking them up, the better off we are.
Do you feel like it's like you're on the side of the road, and so I see you and I'm thinking I should behave? Is that it?
You would just not. I challenge you the next time you're driving, and you're looking ahead, paying attention, as I know you do, and you look ahead and you see someone hit the brakes. What is that? And you see, what do you see? You see either an animal in the road that we heard about earlier, or you see an officer sitting in the median, a DPS officer sitting in the median enforcing traffic.
It's like a wave out there. You see everything just kind of slows down.
Yes, it does bring awareness back. Just the presence alone. Everybody, that's why when we get these calls of someone that is driving, is all over the road, when they're driving down the road and there's not an officer around, they'll text, they'll talk, they'll do whatever. And when they see an officer, it's check your. What do you always do? You always check your speed.
Oh.
And, a lot of people are like, oh, I forgot my seat. It's an instant reminder right there. Hey, we need to look at all this.
Yeah, we do. Now, you did something similar to that during the Thanksgiving holiday. At the start of it and at the end of it, you had a lot of presence between, I want to say, Black Canyon City and Camp Verde. And if I remember right, that happened back in the 4th of July weekend as well, where there was just an abundance of officers, and I think you had tow truck ready, you had the local fire agencies available.
Right.
What was that?
We're trying to get Interstate 17 labeled as a safety corridor, in which that safety zone, we know every time there's increased traffic volume during the Labor Day, during Thanksgiving, during 4th of July, anytime there is an abundance of traffic that tries to go north or south. We have done what we can to increase the manpower along I-17 in that corridor, the Black Canyon Hill, Copper Canyon. We try to put more officers in there, not only just to increase the presence, but also work on quick clearance when something does happen. And we partner with not only the medical personnel, all the fire departments, but with the tow companies in the area. And a lot of the tow companies who we work with, and they will stage equipment, and the Arizona Department of Transportation also staged front-end loaders in areas where we've had issues at, in attempts to quickly clear the road and open it back up. Because as you know, all it takes is one lane to be blocked for a small amount of time, and if there is a high volume of traffic, that queue, the backup that is created, can go for miles and miles.
Miles and miles. Let's take another break. Arizona DPS Captain Danny Golden is in studio today. I am Paul David. We'll take a quick couple-minute break, and we'll be right back with more Countywide.
Ronnie had keen aspirations.
He knew he could get pills in the community.
He found his body in an apartment in Telford.
I never thought my son would take prescription drugs without a prescription.
Secure your medications and talk with your kids. Visit drugfree.org.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
I would steal pills from my friend's mom.
We talk about all the common drugs, but never prescription medication.
I was addicted to pills.
Had I more knowledge, I would have done things differently.
Secure your medications and talk with your kids. Visit drugfree.org.
Hi, I'm Paul, proud owner of High Desert Pest and Weed Control, with a sincere thank you for voting as #1 3 years in a row.
Congratulations, Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, High Desert Pest and Weed Control offer 100% guaranteed positive results. So if you're fed up dealing with spiders, scorpions, roaches, and other pests, rely on a company that's been serving Sedona and the Verde Valley since 1998. Call Mr. Paul at 639-4444. That's 639-4444.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got a couple minutes left in the program. Danny Golden with DPS is here. Now, you've challenged your officers this year, especially during the holiday time here,
yes,
to do a little something extra.
Do a little. We're not always out there just enforcing laws.
You're not the bad guys, right?
We try to show everybody we're not always bad guys. Not only do we help tremendous amounts of people every day that are stranded, but this year, as part of a department challenge, they said come up with something, challenge your officers. And instead of trying to challenge them in an enforcement-related endeavor, I said, let's do a community involvement. I want you guys to reach out. You guys work and live in the community, so look within your community and find someone that is falling on hard times and see how we can help them out, whether it be trying to help someone with landscape in their house or whatever. And the officers are just doing a phenomenal job with it.
What's some of the stuff we've done?
Well, we had the officers up in the Seligman area held a spaghetti dinner that was free to anybody that wanted to come. They didn't just show up. They did it with in conjunction with a Catholic church that was up there. They fed about 75 people in a spaghetti dinner. Some one of the squads here out of the Verde Valley, actually both squads out of the Verde Valley had found them, but one squad delivered an entire meal for a family of 11 that had fallen on hard times for Thanksgiving. And we've already got every squad, all the 5 squads that we have, already have families identified that they're going to try to help them through the Christmas season with not only monetary funds as well as gifts for the children, just to try to reach out and do something that is very good.
Very commendable. I want to thank you for your time today. It's always great to see you.
It's great to be here. Yeah. I always enjoy coming up here.
Of course you do. It's so much fun,
That's right?
That's right. DPS Captain Danny Golden in studio today. Don't do drugs, don't drink and drive the holiday season. I'm Paul David. This is today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.